Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the FishLocker out on the boat. Oh, it's that time of day again, isn't it? It is just stunning. I don't know what more to say about it. It's absolutely lovely. Definitely my favourite time of day. What we're hoping to do today is have our last chance session for some sharks. Now, we're in the middle of autumn. The temperature is dropping. The water temperature is dropping also. That generally signifies the end of the sharking season. We've got about 14 or 15 degrees. That's getting cold for sharks, but we're going to give it a go. With conditions like this, it's definitely worth a try, isn't it? We've got quite a long steam today, so I've stopped now just to say hello and hopefully to try and find some mackerel. I need to try and find some bait. If I can find some mackerel and some sked, that'll be amazing. If I can't find them around here, then we'll just steam off to the sharking grounds and I will try and find some whiting. I will talk through the rigs as I'm doing it. Just wish me luck. That is what we're looking for. That patch there on the sounder. And this is what it is. I will never grow tired of seeing them. That's bluefin tuna. Incredible, aren't they? I've got myself out to the sharking grounds that I'm going to be fishing today. We have wind and tide together in that direction for about another 4 hours. So I'm hoping to run a nice long straight drift. Now, out in this area there have been a couple of thresher sharks seen. One of them was hooked and lost the other day, so I have got a thresher rod out. I got one decent bait on the way out here and I'm going to try and feather up some more whiting now that I'm here. I've run a bait right at the very back and all I've got on there is I've just got a steel bite trace. Now my shark traces, I've shown this before in loads of my other videos. There is a video showing you how to make these. It comes in two parts. There's a trace body and a hook length, and all I have on there is I have a large sliding float. Now the main thing in my opinion about a successful shark day is the chum slick. I have pre-made some blocks of chum. These have been in my freezer. There is also a video showing you how to make the chum. And I'll put it out in a couple of laundry sacks and hang it over the side. Now all it is in there is it's just chopped up bits of fish and bran and fish oil. So it just creates a lot of scent. All you're doing there is you're creating a long scent trail and you'll put your baits out in that. So any sharks swimming along, they'll find that scent trail and go, yeah, nice one. And follow the scent trail, find your baits. Now, a little bit of advice is don't empty your chum bucket out into the boat. I will put it around a bucket like that, tip it into the bucket, hold it over the side and then lift it out. Otherwise you get a little bit of chum all over your boat and it stinks. So that is it in there. Just like making a cake. Lovely. What you do need to be careful of when you're hanging these bags over the side is that a shark doesn't sneakily come up underneath the boat and bite the bag. I have seen it happen quite a few times before, and all that happens there is it bites the bag and tears it open and releases all your chum. You lose all your chum, it sinks to the bottom, and the fish, rather than follow your bait, they follow the chum down to the seabed. The target today, ideally, is blue sharks. Yeah, the target today is blue sharks. That's what I'm out here to catch. Hopefully, I would love to come across a paw beagle or a thresher shark, but generally, there's more blues than there is of them, so we're more likely to catch a blue shark. Anything else is a bonus. Right, I will get a bait rigged up, and I'm going to be fishing a couple of feathers, baited feathers on the bottom for more whiting. This is the size that I'm wanting for my bait. Something like that. This is the trace from start to finish. As you can see, all I've done is I've flapped off one of the whiting and I've mounted it on a 12-0 Mutsu circle with the barb crushed. All of this shark fishing is going to be catch and release, so to crush the barb makes it much easier for the unhooking. I have 4 feet of bite trace, and then 10 feet of trace body with the lead on. So your trace comes in 2 parts. I will explain why in a second. And then onto my leader, just with a really strong swivel and a sliding float. Just run the bait out. The reason why I have my traces in 2 parts is because the bite trace is where it will see most of the wear. It's where it comes in contact with the shark's teeth. It's where it's most likely to get damaged. By having interchangeable hook lengths, by interchangeable bite traces, if one gets damaged, I just change it out with another one. I have a few spares. Also, sometimes, if a fish is hooked in an awkward place in the mouth, if it's really hooked through the jaw, rather than unhooking it the traditional way and bringing the hook out like that, you can pass the hook through the hole and pull the whole trace out. So yeah, it serves a couple of purposes. I'm happy enough with that distance. This is a Penn conflict offshore rod, and this is a Penn Spinfisher live liner, meaning that it has a bait run function there. So I can preset a drag on it, open the live liner so drag can run off, the shark can pick it up. As soon as I want to set the hook, just wind that engages, and I'm at full drag. I'll get some feathers baited up and see if I can't catch a few more whiting. Well, that wasn't what I was expecting. I picked up an octopus on the bottom hook and a pork cod on the top. And that's a shark. Whoa, that took like a screaming run. There was no messing about there, he was on. Now I don't know if you saw all I did there. He was running, so I wound the handle, which engaged the drag, let it tighten, then I lifted the rod. The key to shark fishing by yourself, I think, is preparation. You need to have everything at hand where you're going to need it. So I've got my T-bar to hand, and straight away behind me I've got my gloves. Because if you hook up to what could potentially be a 200-pound fish, you can't afford to be messing about looking for stuff. No, it is a nice blue. Spoke too soon then, didn't I? I just said it hadn't done anything. I think it was probably just coming up to see who I was. Lift the chum bag out of the way just in case. That is a lovely shark. Fresh bait back out and start again. The smaller fish like that, I put that fish down to being about, I don't know, between 20 and 30 pounds. If I say that, I'm not cheating anybody. The smaller fish like that are often difficult to unhook because you generally use the fish's own weight to pop the hook out. You turn the hook and use the fish's own weight. Also, the little ones, they often play around with the bait. Like that one had probably been mouthing that for a couple of minutes, which is why it was quite deep into its mouth. You use circle hooks to try and prevent deep hooking, but sometimes it's just unavoidable. I suspect we're going to see another one quite soon. I've just been winding in some whiting from the bottom, and all of a sudden it's just gone boom, up, real light. Bit my trace off. So I was winding in a whiting from the bottom, and a shark has hit it on the way up. So there's a shark somewhere underneath the boat. I feel like I was about 2/3 of the way up. So it's probably cruising around at about 20 metres. We aren't drifting very fast. Ideally, I would like to be drifting at anything between a knot and a knot and a half. And we're drifting at 0.6 of a knot. So we're not covering an awful lot of ground. Not only does that mean that the chum slick is sinking, so it's fishing real deep, but also we're not covering much ground. We'll just fish on. That's all you can do, isn't it? A lovely day to be at sea. Lovely day to be at sea. Anyway, let's get some more feathers out, see if we can't get another one. We have a shark swimming around the boat. Oh, there it goes. There it is. There it is. The weight of this now doesn't feel like a bad fish. The one that was swimming around the boat was tiny, like a 10-pounder. This doesn't feel like a 10-pounder. Yeah, I just saw at the corner of my eye, actually, up here in front of the boat, just saw two fins, a dorsal and a tail fin. That's usually how you can gauge how big they're going to be. But yeah, he'd come, because we're drifting that slow, he'd come right up past the boat and come round. So he'd obviously been following the scent and gone, oh, I've lost it, and turned round and found it again. There's another nice fish. Just hanging down deep under the boat. See, sharks haven't got any bones, haven't got any rib cage. They're all cartilage. So they rely on the buoyancy of the water supporting their organs. So if you try and drag them up over the side of the gunwale, unless you can pick them up and support them the whole way, you can do them a bit of damage. Now, if I get one today that's wrapped up, or if it's got any lost fishing gear in it, because sometimes you get them and they've got long line hooks stuck in them, then I'll bring them aboard to unhook them. But most of the time you'll just see me unhook them at the side. I have got a camera on the side of the boat. Hopefully that footage there will have shown you how you turn the hook and pop it. And that's what's left of the bait. Let's get a fresh one shot out. This is all I'm doing with the bait. So flap it off whiting and you just push the hook right through. Like that. A nice little bit of bycatch on the baited feathers there. You have to be careful when you're handling these because they are covered in spines. Can you hear it grunting? A lovely red gurnard. Now you can see the spikes on top of its dorsal, but everywhere else is covered in spikes as well. That's a nice one, that. If you catch one over £2, they are amazing eating fish. They actually walk about on the seabed on these little legs, like that. No trouble with the pressure either. Some fish like whiting and pouting and pollock, they blow when you bring them up. Gurnards, all the way at the surface, all the way back down again, no bother. Well, that is a pretty nice double shot. Got a nice size whiting and a gurnard. This would be a decent size to fill it off and take home. There we are, just as before, but with a slightly heavier lead because I'm going to fish this one slightly deeper. This time with a mackerel. As soon as I've run this bait out, I'm going to change the bag over to a fresh chum bag. Maybe get myself a sandwich. That usually signifies when the fish come on the feed. As soon as you sit down and you've got your hands full with your own food, or you've made a cup of tea, that's usually when the fish come on. There we are. Fresh block going out. We're still drifting at like 0.3 knots. Some good days when you'll get a real good drift, you might drift like 5-6 miles, something like that. So far today, I think I probably drifted about 3/4 of a mile. Oh yeah, it's terrible. See if I can't get one more fish out. Be happy with that, I'll be really happy. I've got a couple of little ones around the boat, you can tell because they just pull a couple of clicks off the drag. And the bait comes in either like half bitten off or just with teeth marks in it. I did bring that closest rod in. I thought, oh, something's going on here. Brought it in and the bait was completely gone, it was missing. So somehow it managed to come up and bite the bait off. So we have still got a shark around. Generally that type of behaviour is indicative of a smaller shark. The bigger ones will just smash it. Just have to fish through the small ones to get to the big ones, don't you? Just to show you another reason why I do not like dogfish. Now, we're drifting that slow that I have managed to pick up a dogfish. We're drifting at, well, 0.2 knots. There's Mr. Dogfish, and literally the second that he was aboard, he's just thrown up his entire stomach contents. Look, he's doing it still. Dirty, dirty swine. Crabs, sprats, that looks like a pilchard. Dirty animals. What was a clean boat now is no longer a clean boat. We have some visitors. They're stunning, aren't they? Right under the boat. Probably thinking, I wonder what that fishy smell is. They're stunning to see, aren't they? I was hoping this is the thresher rod, and it did look a bit like a thresher bite to start with. In case you can't hear it running. It did look like a thresher bite to start with, but I think it's just a blow. It's pulling the boat around all over the place. It's spun the boat around 2 or 3 times. Really is running me around this fish. Like I say, I thought it was just going to be a little blue. The way that the bite took. It is a blue, but it is a big one. Yeah, like I say, it is a big blue. Oh, there's another one up there on the float. Hang around, we'll get it unhooked. Oh. Yes, that was a very large blue shark. I would put that one easily at £100. Right, get my life sorted out. Get them rods back out. Right, that fish was a lovely late season blue. I could have sworn it was going to be a small one. The float didn't even go down, just did a couple of clicks off the ratchet and then just slowly walked off to the other side of the chum slick. And I thought, oh god, I know what that is. I'll have to bring all this all the way in for a little tiny blow anyway. I wound down to it like that and hit. And then it just went mental. Didn't even have time to come back here and turn the camera on because it was everywhere. Trying to dance it around the boat because we've got no drift at all. It's just able to spin the boat around. And you saw there I was having an absolute nightmare. I had to bring one of the other rods in. I hope the footage at the side of the boat's alright. I couldn't lift anything that big aboard to show you. It was yeah, that was a very nice fish. We have got, I'm going to give it another hour and then we'll head back. Have you found it? Yep. Right, slow down, slow down. Whoa. I've just been bitten off by one. It's come up on surface and bit through the braid on the big rod. You can find sometimes that little ones, they'll kind of kite around on surface, and if the braid goes in their mouth it spooks them, they swim off, and it's just bit me off. So I was busy, I brought a rod in and I was just brought one of my rods in, the deeper rod, just tied a new leader onto that, brought this float in shallow, right, still wants to go. Turn you around here a little bit. Seeing a bit more of the action. I can see it on the sounder, it's at 70 metres now. Yeah, I brought one rod in and I brought this real close to the boat and had it shallow, and the float just bobbed once, and then by the time I turned around to turn the camera on, the float had come back up again, and then very, very slowly just dropped under the surface. And what it had done was it had picked the bait up and come towards the boat, so I had to wind down to find it. But once it had realised it had been hooked, it didn't want to be near the boat, did it? Heavy now. She's wrapped herself up. Just need to be careful with this, because when they wrap themselves up, as soon as they unwrap, she'll go for another dive. Get you any money. There it goes. Now when they wrap up like that, as soon as they unwrap, they'll go straight back down again. That is a good 100-pound fish, that. Come on, there's no need to be like that. There she goes. Oh, now that one took it out of me. A little tiny rat dog blue shark. And he's away. You can't choose how big they are, unfortunately. Right, well that's it. We've come to the end. As you can see, there is not a breath of wind and we've got no tide. So it means we're just sat right in the middle of like a bullseye of chum slick. So the sharks, they just keep swimming around us. Can't complain about what we've had today though. We've had 2 massive blue sharks. One of them over 100 and one of them I would say, I'd estimate probably 80 to 90 pounds. A couple of little blue rat dogs in there as well, but that just adds to the fun. Didn't manage to find a thresher or a paw beagle, but you can't complain at what we did find. And a nice little bit of mixed fishing as well on the baited feathers, and an octopus. Well, I am beat. I've been under the sun all day, chum bag's washed out, I think it's time to go. If I catch anything else in the next 5 minutes, I'll put it in. If I don't, then I won't. I hope you've enjoyed joining me. All the very best. See you later.